Do you remember that time when a lot of video games just kind of had, interesting settings, alright gameplay, and inoffensive stories? And then in the last leg of your journey, you suddenly had to fight aliens. That trend just was way too long-lived, and I don't think it's quite died. Anyway, welcome back to Startropics. We're now in an alien spaceship, and we have to kill the aliens to get some cubes, because our uncle told us to. I'm beginning to believe that the adults in this world want Mike dead, because they keep sending him on increasingly more difficult adventures, and they don't ever do anything themselves, even though they probably would be better suited for it. Or maybe they could just, call the police, military, something? Doesn't matter. We just picked up the Vitamin X, by the way. It shows up a couple times throughout these last dungeons. And it refills your health completely, and not just that, if you don't have max health yet, it'll also max it out, but only temporarily. It'll slowly decay again every 2 or so seconds, it'll just tick down half a heart. And once it's back down to your regular maximum, it'll stop doing that. Yeah, these levels are quite a difficulty spike compared to the previous ones. Even though the temple ones were already kind of a difficulty spike by themselves, this is just a step further up. And thankfully this first dungeon is, it's very short, if you know where to go, and I happen to know where I'm going, so I'm gonna just go the fastest route that I still know by heart from when I used to play this game. There might be faster ways, but I just go the path that I know at this point. We already saw like another item that you couldn't pick up a bit earlier, that's the laser gun. We'll be able to pick one up soon, don't worry. And these pink speeder bike dudes, just be aware that if you don't have the shooting star, they're probably gonna kill you. Because you do a lot of damage, and they need several hits to take down if you don't have the shooting star. Anyway, conveniently enough, on a tile that we need to pass in order to get to the boss, we found the laser gun. Because they really want us to use it here. And what's important to know is that this turret in the middle can be destroyed. Might not be immediately apparent because the turret itself cannot be damaged while it's not firing. But yeah, this laser gun is much better than a shooting star ever will be. Longer range, same damage, and yeah, a lot of ammo. So don't shy away from using it, even outside of boss battles, it's really good. Pretty much you could say that our primary weapon at this point is completely outclassed by secondary weapons. The only thing the shooting star is going for at this point is that it doesn't really need ammo. So as long as you keep your health up, it's gonna be a steady source of damage at medium range. And yeah, if you don't see me go down those stairs, that means there's nothing there. In fact, the one above and to the left only really lead to a tunnel that leads to the other set of stairs. I don't know, it just does that. So we just head down the path that is required right away. And we'll find our first cube. And just as our regular weapon is completely outclassed, we get an upgrade. The Supernova. And much like when we first got the shooting star, this level actually gives us enough hearts at the start, so we are guaranteed to be able to use it. Because we need a full row of hearts in order to use the shooting star. And you know, you start with 3 hearts, and you get 8, you have enough. And the shooting star goes across the entire screen, and does more damage. I believe you should shooting star just now, but I meant the Supernova. The Supernova is the good one. But yeah, we also still get laser guns in case we drop down below Supernova level. Really, they want you to have a decent weapon here, and since the laser gun is just slightly better than the shooting star, it's really good idea to just pick him up if you find him, just in case you drop down below that 1 row of health. And in the last level, we already had like some damaged looking wall. Here it's just straight up cracks. Last time I think a layer of the wall was missing. and if you attack it, it'll open up and reveal a secret passage. And usually this will lead you to some item, like the spikes in the previous level and a little bit of a medicine here, which I'm pretty sure will come in handy at some point. There's more of these cracked walls, but I'm not gonna lie, some of them just kind of lead you nowhere. And this hole shoots out these weird spike dudes, and it only does so if you're in front of it. Plus you can kill the spike dudes, so don't worry too much about it. Or do. Because in some parts where they show up, it's really hard avoiding them. And here we're suddenly surrounded by 4 turrets, which we need to all kill with... well, that was smooth. Normally it doesn't go that easily. And these guys that kind of go diagonally across the screen, they're essentially the bats from the non-spaceship levels. I think the only difference is that they, well, they don't stop, they just keep moving. But in that secret room we also got the lightning gun. We'll be using it at some point, I'm sure. It's really good. It has shorter range than the laser gun, but its projectile is wider, so it's much easier to hit stuff that's not directly in front of you. Oh boy, lightning barriers. Don't go into them, they damage you. I mean, duh. They don't show up too much, in fact only in the previous room and in this one too. They don't appear quite randomly. Usually they don't just pop up in front of you. At least I didn't have that happen to me. Could just be that I'm lucky though. Alright, boss fight time. This is exactly the same boss, at least the sprite is. Just a different color as the previous level. It acts differently though, as you can see, it has different color and just kind of comes flying towards us and shoots and we gotta kill it. Would probably be better to use the lightning gun here, because I believe it also does more damage than the laser gun. But out of some weird reason I feel compelled to save it. Even though it's probably not the best idea. Hey, look at that! An empty secret room. Thankfully there's no enemies to respawn here. If the boss respawned here, that would be like the ultimate dick move. Alright, another secret room as you can see up there. I wonder why they didn't show up in previous levels. Because that would have been a gimmick that they could have used earlier. Or more consistently too. But yeah, I have a bit of a controversial opinion probably. Because I think the dungeons in this game are actually better than the ones in the original Zelda. Of course, I mean only the dungeons. Mainly because there's more to do here. But overall, Zelda has more going for it, mainly because of the whole exploration aspect. Which this game also has, but not quite in the same way. Yeah, these red tiles, by the way, they hurt us. So we gotta avoid them. And hoo boy, another boss so soon. Look at this. It's kind of a Crocomire type fight if you're a Super Metroid guy or gal. Because you really need to push that robot into that hole there, that abyss. I don't know what it is, I can't quite tell. It's not water, some kind of circuitry or just holes, I don't know. Anyway, knock it down, it dies immediately. And we're done. This is the final dungeon of this chapter, at least. There's still one more in the final chapter. But for the time being, what we need to do is find that other cube. Because the second cube is right up there. It's just we need to get to it. And this is a dumb maze. There's really not much of a way to figure out where to go aside from trial and error. And because this can take quite a bit, I've taken the liberty to speed this up. What I should mention here is probably, even though it's sped up right now, the music that we can hear in the dungeons. Well, this is not the dungeon music. The music in the dungeons is the same music you couldn't hear in all the other dungeons. It's just with different instruments. And I think the melody is slightly different at some points, but overall it's the same. Alright, here we are. Cube number 2. And now, instead of having to collect several hearts, just get a completely maxed out health. So that's nice. I mean, we're in a spaceship, it was bound to happen eventually. In fact, as a kid, I would have been pretty disappointed if it didn't take off. Anyway, that's it for today. Next time, let's wrap this up.